Well, turning now to West Africa, the battle for Damaturu, the Yobe State capital in Nigeria's northeast, may have been won by the military, but security forces and some youth volunteers are searching every part of the town to root out suspected members of the terror group who launched Monday's attack. We get more in this report from Channels TV, our broadcast partner in Nigeria.
Damaturu after the storm. All appears calm, albeit an uneasy one, as the residents have been forced to stay out of the streets and roads following a 24-hour curfew declared by the state government. This is to enable security operatives carry out what they term a mop-up operation after the gun battle between the military and Boko Haram terrorists that sent shockwaves across the state and throughout the country.
At the moment, troops are ensuring the protection of the entire community with the active involvement of the Nigerian Air Force. The whole invasion was put on hold and gave an opportunity to pursue them. The pursuit is still on, and we believe that apart from the casualties they suffered yesterday, a number of them will be apprehended. The kind of cooperation we want is such that, as much as possible, helps the military operations to keep civilians out of harm's way. And that will mean to provide information and pay off.
The Yobe State government says the imposition of the curfew would offer security operatives ample opportunity to free it from any further attack. And the operation is said to be yielding some results already, as some of the insurgents who were trapped in the town after the attack are being rounded up by the military. Residents say security operatives, in conjunction with other volunteers, have been walking round the town to arrest the militants. Some structures at the base were also said to have been torched by the sect members. The mobile police base was the first to be attacked by the insurgents as they made their way to the town on Monday.
Well, there have been calls for more help from the United States to help stem the terrorist menace in Nigeria. For more on that, we check in with VOA's Pentagon correspondent, Carla Babb. Hello, Carla.
Hi.
Now, what do we know regarding the U.S. assistance, if there is any, to the Nigerian military?
Well, the latest news is that the U.S. military has halted their training program that they had with the Nigerian military. Keep in mind, though, that they had already been two of those stages completed, where they started with people who had not been trained and gave them basic military training. Now, they halted this because they say this was by the request of the Nigerian government. So apparently there are some strained ties there. I know that the United States is wanting more from the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government is wanting more from the United States military. But let's talk about what they are doing right now. They're still doing intelligence sharing. They're still having sanctions for the past couple years against Boko Haram, which has been straining Boko Haram there. And then they've been giving money. The entire U.S. government, USAID, has given $4.5 million to help with survivors, to help with their recovery, and then an additional $20 million when it comes to educating people in Northern Africa.
Now, from what you're hearing, what prevents the United States from going full blast, kind of like really going for Boko Haram and rooting them out?
Well, I don't know if you've been watching the news, but there are several fronts that the United States has. Just look at what's going on in Afghanistan. They're trying to wind down there, but there's still going to be about 10,000 troops in Afghanistan. With the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, that really kind of caught the United States by surprise. They had to put a lot more resources than they were expecting, a lot quicker than they were expecting. I just spoke to Colonel Steve Warren, who told me yesterday that there were 1,120 airstrikes between Iraq and Syria. They've put in about 3,000 troops there. And then let's not forget, right there in Africa, there's the big Ebola crisis that's going on. There have been thousands of United States troops there, millions of dollars being spent to try to stop the Ebola virus from spreading.
Yeah, but very briefly, for those who may not know, the U.S. is still engaged with the Nigerian government.
Oh yes, they're still very much engaged. Like I said, they did complete 2 phases of that training. They're still going through intelligence sharing. But let's remember, I know the Christmas season is upon us, but the United States military is not Santa Claus. It can't just dish out millions and millions of dollars without expecting things in return. And the Nigerian government has been facing a lot of criticism because of human rights abuses, alleged, I should say, human rights abuses between the military, between the government, and they have to come to accountability there, and they have to protect their citizens. There was a bombing just last week. Over 100 people were killed there. So they've got to do more on their end to show that they can handle the government gifts from the U.S. military.
But still, no word or sign of boots on the ground in Nigeria, at least anytime soon.
No boots on the ground. They reiterated that in a statement that they gave out on Monday. They are stretched very thin right now, and they want the Nigerian government and the Nigerian military to take the lead on this.
Well, Carla, thank you very much for your reporting.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb reporting live there for us. Now, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com.